Jeff Stein is doing some great work for the Washington Post. You don't hear me mention the Washington Post in a positive light too often, but again, Jeff Stein is doing fantastic work here. Many lawmakers and aides who crafted financial regulations after the 2008 crisis now work for Wall Street. That's what we call the revolving door. So he says, 10 years after the financial crisis brought the U.S. economy to its knees, about 30% of the lawmakers and 40% of the senior staff who crafted Congress's response have gone to work for or on behalf of the financial industry, according to a Washington Post analysis. The pattern, which applies about equally to both parties, is a stark illustration of how policymakers sought to profit from the financial sector after dealing with one of the worst financial episodes in U.S. history. Critics of the revolving door say it helps explain why Congress, even as it deployed hundreds of billions of dollars to bail out Wall Street, didn't take tougher steps to rein it in. Some folks that softened Congress's crackdown on Wall Street shortly after went to work for the companies that benefited from the softening, said former Congressman Brad Miller, who served on the House Financial Services Committee and now works for a law firm that represents whistleblowers. So that guy is somebody who's actually doing good in the world. This is the problem right here. That's what this is. This is the revolving door. This is the systemic corruption that has led to the current situation that we're in. Listen, guys, here's how you knew everything was a sham. After the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession, they didn't even bring back Glass-Steagall. Glass-Steagall was repealed by Clinton. They didn't even bring it back. So for those of you who don't know, Glass-Steagall separated commercial banking from investment banking. So in other words, when you go to the bank and you put your money in there, you have like an understanding or some level of trust that they're not going to take your money and blow it on crazy casino capitalist bets. They're not going to do super high-risk stuff. So that they're not going to, go belly up because they're a bank. It's supposed to be a relatively safe institution. But guess what? That used to be the rule. But then they got rid of the wall of separation between commercial banking and investment banking. So you put your money in the bank, and then they just go and do all these insane bets. And they're like, and as any gambler will tell you, you bet with bad enough odds for long enough, and you're going to fucking blow all your money. And that's what happened. So after the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession, they didn't have new leveraging rules, which were needed, desperately needed. And they didn't bring back Glass-Steagall. So what the fuck are you doing? Well, they did Dodd-Frank, and Dodd-Frank was riddled with loopholes. Now, I'm not saying it was all bad. Some parts of it were good. But you needed to go way further than Dodd-Frank. But what happened was Obama wanted to get anything through so that he can put his arms up and say, historic financial reform after the Great Recession. But no, I mean, it's not really historic if you didn't address the root problems, because what's going to happen is that bubble's going to get reinflated and then it's going to burst again. And there is going to be another downturn. It's going to be a tremendous downturn. And I don't know what's going to be the catalyst this time. I don't know if it's going to have something to do with maybe student loan debt, for example. We got $1.5 trillion in student loan debt. We got $1.2 trillion in credit card debt. It could be the housing market again. It could be derivatives. Derivatives is a wholly unregulated, wild, wild west market where that can go belly up. So there's all these ways in which the market is just totally volatile. But all the people in Washington who were supposed to clean up the problem, fix the problem, on purpose they didn't fix it so that when they left Washington, they can go get hired and make $1 million. See, that's the problem. This is the revolving door. We need to ban the revolving door. Now, I know people say, that's extreme, but no, if you choose to go work in Washington, D.C. and be a public servant, there should be strings attached to that. One of the things should be, you're not allowed to go work for these financial firms. See, this is Wall Street and the government in bed, and they're going to rig the rules in their own favor, and they're going to screw over regular people, and that's exactly what happened, what's happening, and what's going to happen in the future, and it was uncovered. These numbers are nothing to laugh at, man. This is why we don't get real reform. Because you get giant campaign contributions to politicians. The politicians do the bidding of the companies that give them the money. And then you also have, if you go soft on us, if you go soft on Wall Street, you'll get a nice cushy Wall Street job later on. The whole system is a joke. The whole system is a mess. And I think the scariest part is the overwhelming majority of people in mainstream media either don't know about it or know about it and won't tell you about it, which is why shows like this are now popular, because we're pointing out the obvious, even though it's never said